I'm Jayashree Kurup, I'm editor MBTV, and I've come to you with a very special show today. Magic Bricks has done an extensive survey and come out with a consumer sentiment index. And discussing that with me are two very special guests, our CEO, Sudhir Pai. Sudhir, welcome to the show. And I have with me Surbhi Arora. She is the head of research on Magic Bricks, the person who has actually done the survey, analyzed the details, and come up with what the survey shows. So, Sudhir, first of all, what trends did Magic Bricks notice when we were talking, post-COVID, and why did we commission the survey? What is it that triggered the commission of the survey?
Okay, thank you, Jayashree, and a warm hello to the viewers of MBTV. First of all, hope that you, your families, and your colleagues are keeping safe. Despite the lockdown being lifted, this COVID pandemic is here to stay for a while. So I'd urge you to continue to take all due precautions and stay safe. My very best wishes to you on this front. Now, to answer Jayashree's question, let me begin by first providing some context. It is a big and important industry. With a size of over $125 billion, it employs over 50 million people and contributes over 6% of GDP. This is an important industry, not merely because it's a big driver to GDP growth, but more from an ability to create more new jobs, which is critical to a country like ours. Additionally, for most middle and upper middle class families, it is common to have over 50% of their net worth being invested into real estate. Therefore, how this industry performs and the impact of COVID on this business would be of immense interest, not only to participants from within the industry, but well beyond that as well. Now, if you look at how the industry has performed more recently, there have been several silver linings in the last year or two. Commercial real estate, for instance, has had one of its best years last year. The PG and the co-living businesses have been on a tear for the last 18 months. The rental segment is also growing at a healthy clip. However, today's discussion is largely around home buying, so we will restrict ourselves to this segment. Now, if you see primary real estate, this has been sluggish for about 5 years now. Transactions are still down 20% from a peak in 2015. Prices have been flattish in this period. New launches have fallen. And at last count, there were over 6 lakh units of unsold stock in the business even now. Further, with the NBFC crisis, a key source of funding has slowed down, putting pressure on the ability of the industry to service its debt and to raise fresh capital. Now, these were some of the headwinds that the industry was facing, and this was before the COVID pandemic hit. Now, when you want to understand the impact of COVID on the industry, you would want to evaluate it on 3 different fronts. What is the impact on consumer demand? What was the impact, or what will be the impact on account of liquidity issues and managing short-term costs for the industry? And finally, the impact on various input costs, such as land, labor, and construction material. Today's discussion is around the impact on demand and how demand is likely to trend over time. Now, when we speak to people within the industry, there seem to be 3 questions upmost in everybody's mind. 1, how long will it take for demand to recover to some semblance of normalcy again? 2, how much is the short-term expected impact on demand and therefore on transactions? And 3, what are the mitigants and triggers to be able to tide over the current situation? Now, we've attempted to provide specific, quantifiable answers to these questions. And to do this, we've done an exhaustive survey with consumers who are searching for homes. We've done a large quant study with over 1,900 respondents and a deeper qualitative study with a smaller set of buyers. Now, we understand that the situation remains fluid, demand trends are likely to continue to evolve. So there is a plan to do a repeat comparative study after a few months. Now, we hope that the output of these studies helps provide early signals to industry participants and to you MBTV users to be able to plan your course of action suitably on the demand side. Thank you. Stay safe. Back to you, Jayashree.
Thanks, Sudhir. That was a good opening setting. And let's go over to Surbhi. Surbhi, let's figure out what the data show.
We conducted this survey in the 2nd and 3rd week of April, and we received more than 1,900 responses. People from all geographies responded to the survey. Around 21% respondents were from Delhi NCR, 27% from South cities, and 20% from MMR region. And rest 32% were from all over the country. Similarly, people of almost all age groups participated in the survey. More than half of our respondents were first-time buyers, and 76% were salary, while 81% were looking to buy property for self-use. So now let's talk about a little bit about the consumer sentiment. So we all can agree that overall consumer sentiment is low in the market, and it is reflected in our survey too. About 33% of the respondents are planning to either hold or drop their purchase plan. But the silver lining is that 67% are still planning to buy. Interestingly, the drop rate is higher among Gen Z. Gen Z is actually the people who born after 90s, with almost 50% of them are planning to either hold or drop their purchase plan. The survey also indicate a budget cut across the age groups, with 73% likely to decrease the budget. In my opinion, the extent of budget cut is directly correlated with the individual income projections, and this will also depend on how soon the economy will recover from this crisis. We also analyze the buying timeline, and looks like the lockdown had pushed the purchasing plans at least 6 to 9 months ahead. Pre-COVID, around 56% of the respondents were either shortlisted or were actively looking to buy property within 6 months. Now, if we see the red line, it shows that about 25% are still looking to buy within 3 to 6 months. This shift in timeline can be primarily attributed to the uncertainty associated with the lockdown period.
So, Survi, what we notice is that people still want to buy. Many are first-time buyers, a lot of salaried buyers. Can you also now tell us what are the deciding factors for the consumer?
Yeah, sure. So when we asked our respondents about the key deciding factors in their property purchase, price and income stability emerge as a critical consideration. Attractive deals and discounts are also mattering to people, but only after price and income stability. If we talk about return on equity, ROI, that has actually taken a back seat in people's mind for the time being right now. Similarly, cheaper loans, which are generally considered as a supply side push, despite being all-time home loan low home loan rates, I think it will take some time to trigger the purchase. Timely completion is also an important criteria, but I think most of the respondents are now planning to mitigate this risk by buying ready-to-move-in properties. Similarly, we also ask the respondents what are their top challenges in buying property post-COVID. So here also, price uncertainty emerge as a top obstacle, while documentation, registration, paperwork, visiting the site, these all remain the secondary challenges for the buyer. So the ultimate question is what buyer is looking for. And we have come up with some interesting facts. So it is very evident, there is a clear preference for ready property, as 84% of the buyers are only interested in ready-to-move properties. Although few of them are open to buy ready property in under construction projects, but people prefer ready projects. Buyers also prefer primarily gated projects in proximity to their office, schools, workplace, etc. One interesting thing from the survey, now proximity to hospitals has become an important criteria to most of them. So when we talk about this, 84% of the buyers only looking for ready-to-move-in properties, there is a clear gap between different cities. So Mumbai and NCR, the preference for ready-to-move-in is going as high as 90%. While in South City, the percentage is relatively lower, around 65 to 70%. So we created a buyer's wish list also. And not surprisingly, price decrease ranked first. 67% of the respondents wish for more than 15% discount. Also, buyers are looking for relaxed financial terms, semi-furnished apartments with woodwork, kitchen work, online paperwork, etc. Just to ease the post-purchase effort. Now, as the price points have come up as a major deciding factor, we also run an analysis on Magic Bricks listing data. So, can we have next slide, please? So, we compared our YOY price change with the last month price change. The yearly number shows 3 to 15% increase in prices, which is a testimony for the fact that pre-COVID market was recovering. But the listing price, if I see within 1 month, it has decreased by 2 to 9%. Cities like Hyderabad and Ahmedabad were the one which has seen the most price decline. But at the same time, these were the cities which were doing really relatively well in terms of pricing. Similarly, we also checked which cities are going to recover fast. So our survey indicates that IT cities are more likely to recover fast, as the respondent shows a little lesser delay in their purchasing plan in this respect. So having said that, more than price decrease, what I believe that price discovery will remain a bigger challenge in coming months. We can expect a gap between the expectation of buyers and sellers, because earlier also when demonetization happened and when this kind of crisis comes, most of the time buyers expect price discount of around 25-30%. I'm hearing people looking for 30%, above 30% discount, and while sellers usually don't go beyond 5-10% of discount. So I think the major
So what does Magic Bricks think is the future of this industry? I mean, we are still in lockdown, just about a way out of it. But how do we see the future, and what is your advice to consumers?
Look, I think thanks to the study, we now have a good handle on what the consumers are thinking, and we know what the mood of the consumer is. So we don't need to speculate on this. And if I just look at the key takeaways of the study, I think the good news is that 2/3 of the buyers are still in the market. One would have expected a much larger impact than this, but I think that's a huge silver lining that 2/3 of the buyers are still staying back. But what the buyers are also saying is that we might take longer to decide, or we might marginally shrink our budgets from what we were thinking earlier. So I think that's on the buyer side. Now, I think a lot will depend on what sellers actually choose to do or choose not to do. Now, being static may not be necessarily a good strategy. So if sellers respond with very progressive consumer-facing actions, right? So things like what you just spoke of, price guarantee or price reduction in the short term, or maybe selling the kind of units that would actually move in today's kind of markets, right? Or developers who hold more under construction inventory as compared, more inventory as compared to under construction inventory. I think then you will see transactions moving. I think it's time for the sellers to be more buyer-centric, meet the needs of the buyer, capitalize on the fact that 2/3 of the buyers are still in the market and they're looking for the right kind of triggers to buy. Should that happen, I think we will see a recovery a lot earlier than otherwise.
While we have been discussing, there are a lot of queries that have been coming in, and let's take some of the queries. This actually gives you a window into the mind of the consumer. Udayan Mane has asked, have you included Pune in your research?
Let me take that. I think study across most of the Tier 1 markets. Pune was very much included. Yeah. The study was, if I'm not wrong, across 12 different cities. So yes, Pune has been covered, so I have all the large metros.
Yeah. So Udayan Mane, if you want to know more about that, do write into Magic Bricks. And if you don't have another ID, you can write to editor@magicbricks.com. We'll pass it on to our research team, and you can continue the conversation. There is another query: are we seeing trends of price discounts from developers in this lockdown period? Now, Sudhir, it's not so much as price discounts as sweeteners, I think, right?
So look, I think the same study pointed out, we saw some data on Magic Bricks in the month of April. We seem to be seeing 9% reduction in prices posted by different kinds of sellers. Now, all sellers are not developers. We have developers who post properties, we have owners and landlords who post properties, and we have agents. So if you take a weighted average, we are seeing a 2 to 9% kind of price reduction. And we see this as short-term reaction to but you're probably right. Now, see, real estate, at least the primary market, has been sluggish for 5 years now. We haven't seen prices go down. Yeah. What we have seen is prices remaining flat or marginally increasing in this period. Now, for the consumer, it's actually a price reduction, because when you adjust for inflation, you're actually buying homes a lot cheaper today than you were 5 years ago.
And I think Swati Verma Kant, this will answer your question: will the property price depreciate? Prices, you have to be realistic. 5 years, prices have been stable. And like Surbhi and Sudhir have both said, there may be small sweeteners that will happen for completed property. But will the markets crash? Maybe not. There will be more offtake. In fact, one of the things we've noticed is demand is going up. Right, Surbhi?
I was saying about regarding the demand. So third of the respondents are still looking to buy, and we did some in-depth analysis, also in-depth conversation with some of the buyers. And what I feel that home ownership has become important, right? Now, when you are buying a home, then going for a discount of 5-10% generally is not a very big trigger, because once you decide it, as a buyer, if you decided, because it's going to be a lifetime investment in that particular property. So I think from the demand perspective, the market is still quite strong. The fundamentals are strong.
Sudhir, you want to continue with what you were saying?
No, I think I'll add to what Surabhi said. She articulated it well. I mean, I think the survey is pointing out, we're seeing that on search trends on Magic Bricks as well, which is about a third of the buyers seem to be keen to exit the market. 2/3 will stay. So to that extent, you will find a little less buyers than what they were a couple of months ago. But that said, I'll add one more point. I mean, the number of people who are searching for properties in the market are about 6 to 7 times more than the number of people who are actually transacting. Right? So a lot of people on the fringes who are checking out properties but not really buying. I think the industry needs to get smarter at how to convert all of them. I think there is a lot of latent demand. It was there even pre-COVID. It's there even today. And if I think as industry, as different sellers, if we are smart enough to convert that demand, we will see some transactions bounce back much earlier than what it will otherwise be.
If you book today, one of the advantages is that you get the best units, the east-facing units, the corner units, what is more in demand. Those premium units seem to be the ones that get picked up first.
Well, that would be true in any project which is launched, isn't it? The early consumers get their pick of the best inventory. So that would be one of the upsides of going in early when a project is launched. Home buying is not an impulse purchase, right? It's often a decision which you take after thinking of several years ahead. I'm talking of end users here. If you've really found a property that you've liked, if the prices seem reasonable to you, then you should. There's little for you to delay, especially if the developer is also guaranteed a price protection. That said, the limited point I would put is it's more a buyer's market today. In fact, even more than it was 2 months ago. And it's been a buyer's market for a while. So it might pay for the buyer to do homework thoroughly. I would say haggle a bit for a deal as well, because in today's market, chances are the chips are more loaded in favor of the buyer, and the buyer should seek to gain out of the current situation.
I have a number of questions about localities. How is the locality? How critical is the locality in terms of the factors that lead you to decide on a home?
I think our data, Prop Index, for example, has also shown over the last 4 or 5 years that while prices have been flattish, when you look at a market level or at a national level, at a micro market level, it's not necessarily so. There are several micro markets that have actually performed well. So do your research thoroughly, because there are some cities like Hyderabad where actually prices have risen quite sharply over the same period of time, whereas several other cities have been flat. There are micro markets where prices are up 40-50% in the last 4 or 5 years. So when you please do your research as well on prices and on markets where demand outstrips supply, because those markets are likely to do better.
There is Hari Krishnan who says, how is Chennai's prospects post-COVID?
Like any other cities, Chennai market is also quite IT driven. So I think if we talk about Pune, Hyderabad, Bangalore, then Chennai is also included in those IT cities. So Chennai prospects is good, and we will see the market recovering faster than Mumbai and Delhi.
Okay. That's good for those who are looking for Chennai, because Chennai is a repeated phenomenon. Again and again, consumers are asking what is going to happen to the Chennai market. A little slow right now, but Surabhi's assessment is that like any other IT-driven market, and remember, it also has manufacturing, and Indian manufacturing is expected to go up. So Chennai's prospects, Surabhi gives it a thumbs up.
Yeah, if I may add, I think Chennai's time is due. If I look at an analogy of Hyderabad, if you look at the last 5 years, I know that 4 or 5 years ago, the Hyderabad market was not necessarily in good shape, right? There were much fewer transactions. The market prices had actually slightly fallen. And then it's been the last 2 years, thanks to, I think, a lot of job creation and due to I think the markets having been sluggish for 2-3 years before that, we've seen a strong pickup. I think Chennai has gone through a very similar trajectory, and I think Chennai's time is due time.
There is one gentleman called Munish Arora who says this is a question for Sudhir Pai. So let me pose the query to you. Will there be an increase in prices from the seller side for furnished properties since its demand might increase, whereas there might be further decrease in prices for unfurnished properties? Will it not widen the gap in prices based on furnished and unfurnished? Though it's not related to our query, it's directed only to you. So I thought you may want to address this.
Well, I don't think there's any data to suggest that. I think overwhelmingly the demand is more for unfurnished homes. Furnished homes, of course, segments like PG, service apartments, etc., have done well in the last 18 months, and I think there will be a fair amount of homes that get sucked up in that segment. But otherwise, no, there is no indication as of now, basis data on the side, that there is any tilt in favor of furnished homes.
Sudhir, closing comments from you?
So what I was saying was, I think we're going to see interesting times. One, we're going to see sellers respond to a slightly reduced demand in the market. We're also going to see a lot of innovations in the market because I think there's already a lot of talk around how to do contactless site visits, how to do remote viewings, how to move more and more processes to digital. And similarly, on the owner as well as buyer side, you should expect to see a lot of innovations. So like always, I think disruptive times like these hopefully bring out the best in people. And we hope that by the time the dust settles down, we will be better off as an industry than where the crisis started. Thank you, Jayesh.
Thank you. And thank you, both of you, for joining us. Thank you, consumers, for joining us. Keep watching this space because MBTV is bringing you all the latest trends and all the latest in real estate. So keep watching MBTV. Thank you.
Please subscribe to Magic Bricks on YouTube and click the bell icon to get new videos.